They're secretly working in alternative energy situations. That would be your anti-gravitational devices, electromagnetism, all light manipulation, all sorts of things we probably can't even imagine. Then we have HAARP, which is probably the ultimate control factor. They're denying, of course, all this, and the people that work it probably would deny it because they don't know what all this is going to be used for. And then we have advanced Tesla technology that they're working on, MK Ultra and other types of mind control. And the Bible calls the technology that they develop and then suddenly spring on the world as lying signs and wonders. And in the book of Revelation it says, who can make war with the beast? Well, the answer is nobody can make war with the beast because it has the technology, and the technology is used for total people control. The other aspect of control is economic control. Silent weapons for quiet wars is the agenda for that. Under it comes total surveillance, data collection. They collect the data through computers, through your credit card purchases, through bank records. All of that is being collected. Then we have the DNA collection. You're hearing rumbles right now that perhaps everybody should give their DNA, and there's opposition to it, of course, but ultimately they will do that. And then we have profiling. We take all the data from the surveillance, the data collection, and we get into what we call profiling. This is a very important aspect to understand. Profiling leads to crime prevention. Or we could say crime prevention leads to profiling, either way you want to look at it. In other words, when you get taken over by a socialist society, a communist dictatorship or of that nature, the first thing they do is they start to profile people. The reason they do it is they want to identify their political enemies, essentially. It doesn't have anything to do with crime control. This is identifying political enemies. And they call it crime prevention. In other words, instead of solving crimes, they move into a whole other area, crime prevention. Well, the only way you can prevent a crime is to profile people and analyze those profiles who might commit a crime. You see, all of this comes together. It's very, very important because that's what every socialist dictatorship does. It profiles people. And then, in the name of crime prevention, i.e. drugs, terrorism, hate crimes, you can round people up in the name of crime prevention. Now, by surveillance, data collection, DNA collection, iris scans, fingerprints, etc., you can establish positive ID. Now, the only way you can establish real positive ID is to give people what the Bible calls the mark of the beast. That's what it's for. It's really for positive control. Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars spoke about this very thing. They didn't call it the mark of the beast. They just said they wanted to put a computer chip in every man, woman, and child so that they could surveil their buying and their selling. In other words, you could not make a move without it being recorded by computer. They said they needed this so that they can have total economic control. Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. And it leads to the mark of the beast, which in the Bible is 666. Okay, the next item is political control. The agenda for Iron Mountain is the primary weapon they're using on that. You can find out about it in the Humanist Manifesto, the Communist Manifesto, the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, S-I-O-N, not Z-I-O-N, and it's an agenda of the secret societies. I know everybody says that was a fake. Well, if it's a fake, then why are all the items in there being implemented? You see, this is brainwashing. You can brainwash the population and call these things fakes like Iron Mountain is supposed to be a fake. Well, it wasn't. We have absolute proof that Iron Mountain was real. Anyway, through the agendas and the international bankers, they get the nations deeply in debt. All right, they also control the mass media for political control. Through the debt control, they can manipulate the politics of a nation. All right, corrupt leaders. They find leaders that are corrupt so they can compromise them. They'll expose them if they don't do what they're told. Then in the end, it leads to a council of wise men and a world teacher and a world president out of the UN. That's what this whole thing is all about. Religious control is going to be done predominantly through the Blue Beam Project. And that is the projection of a holographic materials into the atmosphere along with holographic moving. These are moving pictures and sound. And what they intend to do is to project through satellite technology the arrival of a Messiah. It's all going to be a fake. Anyway, we're not talking about the Blue Beam Project, but what they do is they infiltrate and they destroy the Christian church is the primary target. They attack from the outside at the same time they infiltrate and destroy through apostasy, through reinterpretation, through infiltration into the prophetic ministries, so that they misinterpret the prophecies and get the masses of the Christians, those who do study biblical prophecy, to believe something that's not true. And this is how they do it. They infiltrate. And it's particularly so in the prophetic circles. And America is filled with false prophetic teachers. All right? Then they attack from the outside, after they've apostatized the church, they attack from the outside through media. They ridicule, they mock religion. And they get the people over a period of time to actually begin to think of religion as foolishness, and they literally destroy in the minds of the people any need for spiritual thirst. And then, at the end, what they intend to do is bring in their false Messiah. They've destroyed the real truth by attacking Christianity. All right? Then they will replace this with a world religion and their false Messiah. That's how it works. The Bible says that the rich men of the earth are the destroyers of the earth. Very, very strong language that the Lord uses. He says that they want to gain control over the earth, and they do it, evidently, partially anyway, by destroying the earth. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, if you in secret were to develop the technology so that through Tesla and the advances that you made from the research Tesla had done, you could uncover all sorts of technologies. In fact, the insiders that come out of Area 51 and the underground bases, etc., claim that the technology is so far advanced we wouldn't believe it even if we saw it. Remember also that the Bible says that lying signs and wonders are employed to bring in the false Messiah. Lying signs and wonders is nothing more than high technology. But it's so high a technology that it seems like it's miracles from the gods themselves. But let's say you developed this technology. You did it in secret. Black operation, super secret tests and research. And you develop the technology so that you learn how to alter the weather. You learn how to cause earthquakes anywhere you wanted. You learned how to create severe storms. You learned that you could even alter the climate at the poles, and you could slowly melt the poles. You might be interested in the minerals. You might be interested in oil and gas exploration in those areas so that you could perpetuate the power that you already have. Iron Mountain is a book about how governments perpetuate their own power. It has nothing to do with whether the people want them in office or not. Power begets power, and power also begets corruption. And absolute power begets absolute corruption. The Bible says that evil men wax worse and worse, and one of the reasons they do is because they stay in power. They develop the means of psychological warfare, of fooling people, of mass psychological warfare. They do it through TV, they do it through movies, through radio, newspapers, and magazines.